Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're taking a look at symbols.
Oh, yeah.
And
looking forward to this.
yeah, me too. You know, those things that are way more than just like pretty pictures or, designs. They're like these secret keys to unlock deeper meanings and emotions and all that.
Absolutely.
I mean, have you ever like seen a certain image or heard like a piece of music and you just got chills?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about today.
It's powerful stuff.
Yeah, and to help us understand all this, we've got our expert in psychology and symbolism.
Happy to be here.
So glad you're here. This is going to be fascinating, I think.
Looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah. Okay, so first off,
Sure.
what exactly is a symbol? I mean, like, how is that different from just a sign? Like, a stop sign means stop.
Right, exactly. A sign is very straightforward.
Yeah.
One-to-one means...
As a traffic light.
Exactly. Red means stop, green means go.
But a symbol...
Now a symbol.
That's more open to interpretation, right?
Much more... It's multi-layered, like a poem, you could say. Speaks to our emotions, our experiences, our background.
So it's like a sign is a single word, but a symbol is like a whole sentence or a whole paragraph even.
That's a great way to put it.
Wow.
It carries so much more weight and meaning.
So like the same image could mean totally different things to different people.
Exactly. Depending on their own personal associations. Like,
Okay.
let's take a simple example, like a drawing of a lion.
Okay, a lion.
What comes to mind when you see that?
Well, I guess I think of courage and strength.
Yeah.
Maybe royalty, like the king of the jungle.
Right, the king of the jungle. But somebody else might see that and be afraid,
Yeah, true.
They might remember a scary experience at the zoo or even a nightmare they had as a kid.
Yeah.
And for someone from a culture where lions are symbols of danger or evil, it could mean something completely different.
So it's not really about the image itself.
Right.
But about what we bring to it.
Yeah, it's about the layers of meaning that we project onto it.
That's fascinating. And this gets even more interesting when we start talking about dreams.
Definitely dreams. Those are like symbol factories.
Right.
Absolutely churning them out.
Our sources have some pretty wild examples of how dreams use symbols to like communicate with us.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
One story that I found really interesting was about a man who kept having this dream
Okay.
where he was being chased through a dark forest by this shadowy figure.
Ooh, that's creepy already.
He couldn't see the figure's face, but he felt just this overwhelming sense of fear and dread.
Oh, man.
And through therapy,
Okay.
he realized that this figure represented his own repressed anger, something that he'd been pushing down for years.
Wow, so the dream wasn't random.
No, not at all.
It was like trying to tell him something.
Exactly. It was his unconscious trying to get his attention.
It's like our unconscious is speaking to us in code.
It is a kind of code, a symbolic language.
Yeah. And we have to learn to understand it.
We do, and that's where understanding archetypes comes in.
Archetypes.
Yes.
Okay. I've heard that word, but not really sure what it means.
But think of archetypes as these universal patterns of human experience embedded in our collective unconscious.
Okay.
They're like blueprints for common characters, themes, motifs that show up in myth stories, even our dreams.
So like the hero, the villain, the wise old man, those are archetypes.
Precisely. Those are classic examples.
Okay.
And the fascinating thing is that these archetypes often express themselves through symbols.
Okay.
So, for example, the hero might be represented by a lion or a sword or a shining sun, while the villain might be associated with snakes or darkness or a storm.
It's like our unconscious is pulling from this like universal library of images and stories to talk to us.
Exactly.
It's mind-blowing.
It really is.
And it means that we're all connected on a much deeper level than we realize.
Absolutely. We share a common human experience that goes beyond our individual differences.
So even if we're from different cultures or have totally different life experiences, we're still using the same symbolic language.
Precisely.
Wow.
And that brings us to one of the most intriguing aspects of symbolism.
What's that?
The potential for self-discovery. It's through understanding these symbols that we can really start to understand ourselves.
Okay.
Our motivations, our potential.
That's incredible. But where do we even begin with all this?
Well, you don't have to be an expert to start exploring this world.
Okay.
The key is to just be curious and open-minded.
Right.
Pay attention to the images, the patterns, the things that keep popping up in your life.
Good.
What do they make you feel? What memories come up?
So it's like a treasure hunt.
It is.
But the treasure is inside us.
Exactly. And like any good treasure hunt, it takes patience, and you got to be willing to go into some uncharted territory.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
One of our sources suggested keeping a dream journal.
Oh, a dream journal.
Yeah, write down everything you remember as soon as you wake up.
Even if it's like totally weird and doesn't make sense.
Especially then.
Okay.
Because those are often the most important parts.
I've tried that before, but I always forget my dreams.
I know it's tough. Our minds tend to filter out that dream logic, but you can train yourself to remember more.
Really?
Just by making space for those images to linger, before they disappear.
So like keep a notebook by the bed.
Exactly. Or even just use the voice memo app on your phone.
Oh, that's smart.
Make it a habit. Even if you only get bits and pieces at first, you'll be surprised what patterns emerge.
Huh. Interesting.
Our sources also talk about exploring art.
Okay, how does art fit into all of this?
Well, art is a language of symbols. It lets us express things that are hard to put into words.
Right.
Think about a painting or a song or a poem that really moves you. Why does it speak to you? What symbols are at play?
So we're not just like passively consuming art.
No.
We're having a conversation with it.
Exactly, a symbolic conversation.
That's a cool way to think about it.
And remember, there are no right or wrong answers here. It's about your personal experience.
Right.
What matters is that you're engaging with the art and letting it spark your imagination.
One expert said that science has given us this incredible knowledge of the physical world.
Yes.
But it's like we've lost the instruction manual for our own inner world.
That's a great analogy.
Right.
We're so good at manipulating the external world, but we struggle to understand our own hearts and minds.
And symbols can help us with that.
They're like signposts guiding us to those forgotten parts of ourselves.
One source talked about ritual and how that connects us to the power of symbols.
Oh yeah, rituals are powerful.
So like lighting candles for a holiday, or even something simple like having my morning coffee.
Exactly. Even small rituals can become infused with symbolic meaning.
Okay.
They help us create intention, mindfulness connection to something bigger.
But what about the negative stuff?
Yes, the shadow.
Right. Our sources talk about how dangerous it can be to ignore those unconscious forces.
It's true. We can't just pretend those parts of ourselves don't exist.
So how do we deal with that? It sounds kind of scary, to be honest.
It's not about ignoring it. It's more like
Okay.
learning to work with it to understand it.
Okay.
And the first step is really just becoming aware of it.
Aware of the shadow.
Yeah, shining a light on those tendencies, those impulses that we'd rather not see,
So like jealousy and rage and selfishness.
Those are all part of it, yeah, but it's not just the negative stuff.
Okay.
It also includes positive qualities that we've repressed.
Really?
Yeah, maybe we were told it wasn't okay to be ambitious or assertive, or maybe we shut down our creativity because we were afraid of being hurt.
So it's not just a monster hiding in the basement. It's more like a whole room full of stuff
That's a great way to put it.
we've just been shoving in there.
Yeah, and the goal isn't to get rid of everything in there,
Okay.
but to sort through it, reclaim what's valuable, and find healthier ways to express that energy.
Our sources talk about this thing called projecting the shadow.
Right.
What does that mean?
When we haven't acknowledged our own shadow, we tend to see it everywhere else.
Okay.
We judge and criticize people who embody those qualities that we've disowned in ourselves.
So like if I'm always annoyed by someone who's bragging,
Yeah,
it might be because I'm actually repressing my own desire for recognition.
exactly. And by recognizing that pattern,
Right.
we can start to withdraw those projections and reclaim that energy.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is.
So how do we actually start this whole shadow integration thing? It seems kind of abstract.
Well, one way is by working with symbols.
Okay.
Symbols can provide a safe container for exploring those difficult emotions.
How so?
Let's say you're struggling with feelings of inadequacy.
Okay.
You could engage with a myth or a story about a character who overcomes self-doubt and achieves something great.
So by seeing them face their inner demons,
Yes.
we can find the courage to face our own.
Exactly. Symbols can act as mirrors reflecting back those hidden parts of ourselves. And they can also be guides showing us the way forward.
It all comes back to self-knowledge then.
It does.
It's not just about knowing our strengths, but also about accepting our shadow side.
Exactly. It's about embracing all the colors of the rainbow, even the dark ones.
That's beautiful.
And that process of integration is crucial not just for us personally.
But for the world as a whole.
Absolutely. By owning our shadow, we're less likely to project it onto others.
Right.
Which means less conflict, less prejudice, more understanding.
This has been an amazing deep dive.
It has.
I've learned so much about symbols.
Me too.
What's the one thing we want our listeners to take away from this?
Pay attention to the symbols that speak to you.
Yes.
Recognize their power to connect you to your inner world, both the light and the shadow.
Don't be afraid to explore the depths.
That's right.
Embrace the mystery. And remember this journey of self-discovery.
Yes.
It's ongoing.
Always.
Full of surprises and challenges, and ultimately incredibly rewarding.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, folks. And until next time, keep exploring the world of symbols and keep unlocking those hidden treasures within yourselves.